Hi, Divas, and welcome to the fifth episode of this podcast. Have I really been filming for 5 weeks? Well, not 5 weeks because there was no episode last week, but I cannot believe that it's been like 5 episodes. As I said in my last episode, I've never been this consistent with anything, and technically, I haven't really been this consistent with the podcast as well because last week I had to miss filming an episode, but it's because I've been fixing my documents and stuff. So that's why there was no new episode last week, and I do apologize for that. But sometimes life works in these ways that you can't really predict. So yeah, like if this episode looks a little different and sounds a little different, I've been having like a bunch of technical difficulties, and hopefully this is actually going out on the internet because I filmed this podcast 3 times again, as I did like for the first episode, like so many technical issues, and I don't really have like a past of filming, so I don't understand how these things work at all. And maybe that's why I'm having so many technical difficulties. But hopefully I figured it out. Hopefully it looks and sounds good, and we can proceed into the episode. So for today's episode, I actually wanted to talk about like a bunch of topics. Like the last few episodes have been like more of a story time structure, but I think I'm going to do the podcast more in like an actual podcast structure because I don't really have a lot of story times to tell you guys. If I do, I will tell you my stories and stuff. But yeah, for now it's going to be just like random topics, I guess. It's not really random. I do try to organize it a little bit. But yeah. Okay, first of all, I wanted to give a second to these nails. I have like a little doll on my nail. I can finally like do my actual nails. Like my other nails that I've had in the past episodes have been press-ons because this nail fell off while I was working at the construction place, and it's taken months to grow back, and now it's finally grown back enough that I can like actually do my nails. So I have this little mold, and I did these little dolls, alien type of creatures, and I've been obsessed. I have a few molds, and I've been obsessed with like making little dolls, and it's been so fun. I can show you this one as well. It turned out really good. I'm really proud of it. There's also this one, which is also really cute. I don't know, I've been really obsessed with like art in general. I've been like having a lot of free time, I guess, and I've been expressing myself artistically. So let me know what you think about my dolls down below. I would love to one day have like a 3D printing machine and actually do like actual dolls. Like that's my like dream, but that's like for the future. That's not right now. So let's get into this podcast episode. My first topic is actually having repercussions of this podcast. Basically, in my last episode, I talked about this guy, and I told you like the story of how we met, how like we had like a pretty rough relationship, and how now he's back into my life, and I didn't know how to feel about that. And to be honest, like we do follow each other on Instagram. I think like he knows that I have a podcast and stuff, but I wasn't aware that he was watching, and he was, and he was because like the next day or a few days after I posted that podcast that was talking about him, he reached out and he was like, "Can we talk? Whatever." And I was like, "Well, shit. Like I know it's because I talked about you on the podcast, and I had like real life repercussions of talking about somebody on the podcast, and that was so crazy to me. I've talked about a lot of people on the podcast, and mostly these people that I've talked about are not really in my life, so I wasn't really expecting like anybody to reach out, you know. But yeah, we had like a conversation. We are now friends. Like he apologized for a lot of shit, and I also apologized, and I understand where he's coming from. He also understands where I'm coming from, and that's all I'm going to say because I'm no longer exposing people who I talk to on the internet. Not that I have anything to expose, to be honest. Like, as I said, we are friends now. Um, so yeah, that's my conclusion to that story time, and that's like, it was my first time actually having like somebody in my real life talk to me about something I said on the podcast, and it's scary. It was scary. And is that going to stop me from talking about people online that have done me wrong? No. But it was just like a very like strange situation that I found myself into, and I'm just going to try to not talk about people that are in my life currently not that I have anything to say about the people in my life. Like, all of my friends that I have in my life are like some of the best people ever, so I don't really have to shit talk anybody. I wasn't really shit talking that guy as well. I was just telling you guys our story because he had recently come back into my life and that was like bothering me and stuff. But I was not expecting for him to watch the podcast. Like, it was such a weird thing to experience, I swear. On the other hand, another weird thing that I've been experiencing is like the amount of comments I've been getting. And like, it's on Reels, it's on TikTok, it's on like my actual like podcast episodes, and it's been like mostly weird comments. And like, I understand that as a queer person and as a feminine presenting person, I'm going to obviously receive like strange comments, like people not really agreeing with my existence in general. Like, I understand that, but like, I've been receiving like weird comments. Like, from this guy, he commented on one of my podcast episodes, I'm pretty sure, and he was saying like wifey material, whatever, like something like weird like that, like amazing job, wifey material, like that was so scary. Like, what do you mean wifey material? I'm not anybody's wife, and you don't have wifey money, so I'm not your wife. Like, what? On the other hand, though, I've been receiving a lot of hate comments as well, like people being like weird and saying that my opinion doesn't matter because I have facial piercings and stuff. I mostly thought that the oppression, if you can call it that, I would receive online would be for being like a queer femme presenting person, but it's mostly been about my facial piercings and like people saying that I shouldn't have an opinion because I have a nose ring in, and like, that's crazy because what does my nose ring have to do with like my actual thoughts, you know? Like, the way you look doesn't have to do with anything. Like, it's just me personalizing my avatar because I wanted to, and because I had the money, and because I had the patience. Like, let people do whatever they want with their lives. Like, which actually brings me onto the first like actual topic of today's podcast, which is Northwest and the way she's been dressing and the way people, actual adults, have been reacting to this child dressing up. I feel like as an alternative person, I do want to express my opinion because I also started like to dress more alternatively and to have like to actually have facial piercings and having tattoos and stuff like that at a very young age. I wasn't 13. I was, I'm pretty sure, 16, 17, around there. But I feel like the way people have been reacting to this child just dressing up and like putting on a wig and a cool outfit and wearing some bracelets, it's so disturbing. It's so disturbing. Like, I've seen like people making hour-long videos talking about the way this child is dressing up. And like, that's so concerning. Like, first of all, look at the whole situation. Like, her mother is Kim Kardashian. Her father is Kanye West. Like, this child is obviously living such a different life from any of us. Like, you can never imagine what she's going through, especially with her dad being like a Zionist on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Her mother changed the outlook on what's like considered beautiful, on what's the beauty standard in society. Of course, this child is going to be like acting out, if you can even call it that. Like, of course, she's going to experiment with the way she looks. Like, that's all she's been surrounded with. Like, her family is the Kardashian family. Like, I don't understand how people can't get that into their heads. Like, and of course, like, there's something to say about like people wanting to talk about a child, and she is like a public figure technically, but she's also like 13, 14, and like, I've seen so many weird conversation. I saw this video of this girl, and she was like, the title of her video was like, you shouldn't be dressing like this until you're 18. And like, that's another conversation to be had, because sure, you shouldn't be getting tattoos and body modifications like piercings and stuff until you're 18. But then after you're 18, in Europe especially, you finish school when you're 18 and you can go to college, which like having piercings in college is probably the worst nightmare. College is already such a judgmental place. Imagine having like body modifications and piercings. And if you live in America, I don't know when they finish school. I'm pretty sure it's still around 18 to 20 years old. But when are people supposed to have freedom to express themselves by the way they look? Like, it was such a weird title, and she wasn't really talking about that in the video. I think it was like mostly to like rile up people and to like get people to click on the video, which I did, obviously. Like, it worked. Congratulations, girl. But it was such a weird video to be like watching this grown ass woman like talking about like a child, like the way a child dresses, and like we should really have more empathy for children. Like, I saw it being done with Bad Baby, I saw it being done with Alabama Barker, and now we're seeing the same thing happening to Northwest. And like, when is it going to stop? When are we going to stop judging these like celebrities' children for the way they act or dress or the makeup they wear or stuff like that? Like, when is it allowed for us to express ourselves? That's my question. Like, although she is dressing like very alternatively for like the Kardashian family and stuff like that, I feel like it's just like self-expression, and we should allow people to express themselves. And I heard so many like weird comments from adults on like TikTok especially, but also on YouTube, about like the way this child is dressing, and like she is allowed to dress the way she wants to. Like, I don't think people understand that just because she is like a public figure does not allow you to act like you're her parents, does not allow you to say what she can and cannot do. Like, she's being a child. She's produced music as well. Like, she's taking like samples from other songs that she likes, and from an alternative person's perspective, I can see how she's trying to like express herself. And in my opinion, it is because her childhood has been so far kind of weird, because her dad is a Zionist and her mom is Kim Kardashian, and like, I don't know how that would affect a child, but like, I just think that we should leave that child alone. And like, I do think there's more important conversations to be had, because there's also like rappers that are trying to hit on her, and she's been going to clubs from what I've seen on TikTok and stuff. And we should be focusing on that. We should be focusing on where this child is going, and not how she's dressing, and not how she's acting, or the makeup she's wearing, or the TikTok she's filming. People are not concerned really about her future. They're mostly concerned about like the way she looks. And that's what's bothering to me. Like, if she was like a clean girl type of situation, and she just had like eyeliner on and like a full face of makeup, would the conversation be different? Like, that's my question, and I do believe that it would be, because alternative people are very judged in society. And like, she doesn't even have like facial piercings or anything like that, and she said like that is because her parents don't let her, which I'm glad. Like, I don't think you should be getting facial piercings until you're like much older. But like, it's such a crazy situation, like how so many people on the internet have such a hardcore opinion on a child. If it was your child, you can have an opinion. When it's not your child and you're just seeing this person on the internet, I don't think you should be having an opinion. I just think people need to like shut the fuck up. That's like my opinion is in this whole situation, because like, I've been watching like how she's been treated on the internet for the past like few months. Like, I think it's been almost a year since she started dressing in a certain way and filming TikToks and her new outfits and stuff. And I just felt like people on the internet are so outraged by a child like dressing the way they want to dress. And like, it's such a scary situation, I swear to God. I just like, I know she's never going to watch this or anything, but I just hope she's good. Like, I just hope she's also taking care of her mental health, and she's not letting these comments of like actual adults get to her, because that's like the scariest part of the internet. Like, when other people comment on the way you act or the way you dress, you know? And like, even I, as a 22-year-old, am getting like hate comments, and they affect me to a certain point. Like, of course, I know that you shouldn't really be letting comments online affect you, because most of these people are just sad with their reality, and I don't let it affect me that much, but it still affects me. So, and I don't really even have that many hate comments. Imagine like being an actual child and like having these like adults commenting on the way you dress, the way you look, and the things you're doing. Like, it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy. I just hope like she's taken care of. And I know that Kim, even though she is a controversial figure, I do think that she seems like a good mother, and she does take care of her children. And I just hope, for the child's sake, Kim is not letting her read these comments that people are posting and these videos that people are posting online about her. Anyway, I think I got my point across. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say, like, just leave the kids alone, okay? As a person who was a child dressing alternatively and received these types of comments, and it made me feel so like depressed and so like alone and isolated. I just think that we should have more empathy for children, and especially if it's not your child. Like, that's the crazy part. Moving on to my next topic, I actually wanted to talk about Tana Mojo. And I do think that this podcast is going to be like mostly about like influencers and online social media and that type of situation. Because recently I have found out something very like baffling to me, at least, because I wasn't aware of it. But recently I found out that Tana Mojo has like a very big history of being racist. Like, I watched this 6-hour documentary, mind you, by Cruel World Happy Mind. I'm going to link their video down below. Be sure to check them out. But they basically did a recap of Tana Mojo's entire career, and I think I should start from the beginning. I started watching Tana Mojo when I was very young. I I'm pretty sure I was around like 16, 17 years old, and she was like a very big escape to me because, as I told you in my previous episodes, I was really depressed for a very long time and I really didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So watching like YouTubers online was very helpful to like escape my reality and try to find some comfort in life. And watching Tana Mojo's videos, especially like her traveling vlogs and her story times and stuff like that, she like in a way raised me because she was for the longest time the only person that I watched online. So I kind of like have a lot of personality traits that she also has, and I related to her a lot, and so I kind of connected in this like parasocial way to her for the longest time. And after the whole like Brooke cancellation on the podcast and stuff, I stopped watching her as much because I didn't realize like Brooke had like such a horrible like racist past. I think a lot of people found out when the tweets came out and stuff. And when I saw what she was saying, I was like disgusted. I could not continue to support it, even though I wasn't like subscribed to the Patreon or anything like that. I was just watching on YouTube, but still I felt like I shouldn't be supporting those types of behavior. And even though Brooke said like she did her apology and stuff, and she said that she's changed and she doesn't view the world that way anymore, I still chose to not watch the podcast anymore. So from what I've seen online, she has like Tana Mojo has a new podcast and she's talking about like growing up and stuff like that. Like, I do feel like in recent times she's getting like more mature from what we can see online, but still like after watching this documentary, I'm really questioning the person I've been supporting for so long. And like, by supporting, I don't really mean like I have never bought merch from her. I have never like subscribed to like her OnlyFans or anything like that, like, or the podcast's Patreon or anything. I mean like supporting her like online and with likes and comments and even like using audios of hers and stuff like that. And it just made me feel so weird because basically this person, this, I don't know the name of the person, but Cruel World Happy Mind is their name on YouTube, and they were basically doing like a chronological history of Tana Mojo's career. And there was a particularly like interesting section where, first of all, this woman from the channel talked about like Trash, which was Tana Mojo's like collab channel, and how there was this like black guy that was calling out Tana at the time for being racist towards him and stuff, and she just didn't care. Like, from what I understood from the like videos that were shown, she just really did not give a fuck. And like, that was such a weird like thing because obviously like Amari is like Tana's brother still. Like, it was very shocking to me, like her racist past and how she's treated people. And also Simply Nessa, which I remember, like, I'm pretty sure I was a fan of Tana at the time when the whole Simply Nessa situation happened, because I watched that Shane Dawson, trigger warning, Shane Dawson, when Shane Dawson was going through Tana Mojo's phone, and I watched that video and I saw like Shane like calling out Simply Nessa and whatever, like, and it was like a funny situation to me. But I did not know that Simply Nessa actually had a response video, which was shown in this person Cruel World Happy Minds video, where Simply Nessa was basically like saying that Jordan, which was Tana's manager, was extremely racist towards Simply Nessa, and Tana was also like in some ways like ignorant, if not like blatantly racist towards Simply Nessa. And it honestly like turned me off so much of like this personality that Tana Mojo has built for herself, because even though she is changing nowadays, like I've seen like her taking accountability for a lot of stuff. And when Brooke got canceled for her comments, for her racist, like extremely racist remarks on Twitter, I saw that Tana was also being like, oh, because I also have a past of racism, whatever. Like, but I wasn't aware. I'm telling you guys, like, and it is ignorance on my part, because I'm obviously like a white person, and I've never looked into like anything about racism in like Tana Mojo's career or anything like that. Like I wasn't aware, and so when I found this information out, I was so like baffled, and it's so baffling to me because I like obviously I'm not like the group affected by the comments that she has made. Like if I was a black person, I would already have known about these things, and she's isolating like a whole group of her audience. And like I don't know, it just made me feel so icky. Like I've had like, as I told you, like a very much like a parasocial relationship towards Tana, because her videos were a very like big escape to me, to a child that wasn't really happy with the way they were living. Like I was very like parasocially connected to this person, and now finding out these things, like, and of course I know that people change, and of course I know that people grow up, and sometimes admiring YouTubers is such a scary thing, because well, you don't know who has made like extremely like racist and like weird remarks about people. And I do think like cancel culture doesn't even work nowadays, because you can't really cancel anybody. Like because the only repercussion you can really see from any type of prejudice behavior is like losing your job, and like losing your school or college diploma or stuff like that. But when you're a YouTuber, people can hold you accountable, and you can still have a bunch of like racist people in your audience like still supporting you. And that's what I'm not trying to do. Like that's why I'm so put off by this whole like situation, because as an alternative, as a queer person, I really like try to inform myself with the way people have been, the way people have the things people have been canceled for. And I try not to support people who have been like canceled for such like horrible behaviors. And it was such a shocking information to me, I swear to you. I've been a fan of Tana Mojo for so long, and I never knew about the whole situation. Like, even after TanaCon, I still, like, supported her, because I do believe that she is a very, like, aware person. I do believe that she, from what she presents on the internet, she is a very aware person, and she kind of takes accountability very well. Like she admits her fault, and she says what people want her to say, I guess. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know how to take that, but she has gotten away with a lot of like weird behavior, like even scamming behavior and stuff like that. Like that whole like documentary on Tana Mojo by this person, Cruel World Happy Mind, was so like eye opening to me, because who have I been supporting, you know? And recently I've been watching a lot of Vanilla Maze. Like at the end of the day, when you kind of need to distress, I just put on one of her streams and or one of her videos, and I just watch and draw, or like play Minecraft or anything like that. And it's just been so like I've been kind of connecting with another YouTuber the way I connected with Tana Mojo, because I don't normally connect with YouTubers like that. I do find it kind of scary, like how parasocial like the internet gets, because a lot of Vanilla's audience is also like very parasocial. I try not to be like obviously I'm grown up now, and I don't really like get into that like whole side of the internet. Like I don't care about these people because I don't know them, and I'm never going to know them. It's just weird. Like the people we support online, we never know who they're going to be, and like in real life, and what causes they support. And they can tell you that they support like the causes that you're supporting, but behind closed doors, who knows, you know? And that's the scary part of the internet. People can present in such a like different way than they are, and obviously everybody puts on like, and obviously like most people put on a persona. Like mostly, like for me, I can say that this is like my best version of myself, like with makeup and dressed up and like feeling good about myself and stuff like that. But still, like I'm being like sincere and I'm being like myself, and I know a lot of people online are being fake, and that's such a like a scary situation, especially trying to be like somebody online and running into these like controversy that these extremely big influencers have had. Like, it's so like scary, like, and I think that's going to lead me into my next topic, which is going to be about Sniper Wolf. And if you guys know who Sniper Wolf is, like if you were on that side of the internet, I'm pretty sure you're like gasping right now, because what do you mean I'm mentioning this woman in 2026? But for those of you who don't know, basically Sniper Wolf used to be like a gamer YouTuber, then she became kind of like just an online personality. I remember she used to do like Omegle and stuff like that, and I used to watch those types of videos. She did like videos with her sister and stuff, and then she went more into like reaction content, which in the beginning I did kind of enjoy, because a lot of people were making like videos about like their favorite TikToks and what they were watching on TikTok and their likes and stuff like that, and that was like a funny way to connect with like a creator and see if you have like common likes and stuff like that. But eventually I realized that she wasn't really like showing us her favorite TikToks or anything like that. She was making like kind of sloppy content. Like, it was very much like a video of somebody riding a bike, and she would be like, "Oh, he's riding the bike." And like, she wasn't really like adding anything to the content. So that's when I stopped watching her. And I heard about this whole situation with Jack's films. And at the time I didn't really like understand what was happening, because I'm pretty sure that was around the era that I was going out a lot and doing a bunch of illicit substances, so I wasn't really online. But recently I watched another documentary, actually, which I'm going to link down below as well, from this guy called Jay Aubrey. A moment to like actually like shout out these creators, because making like actual documentaries about people's like entire career is so crazy. Like Cruel World, Happy Mind, Jay Aubrey, like these creators have been so like eye-opening to me, and it's so like interesting. I'm very interested in pop culture and stuff, and seeing these creators cover like people's entire career, and I find it very interesting. So be sure to check these people out. I'm going to link their channels down below. But basically, this Jay Aubrey guy, he did a documentary about like the whole controversy of Sniper Wolf, and I watched it. I was just like, I was cleaning the house and I wanted something to listen to, so I put this like video on. It was in my recommended and stuff, and I was just listening while cleaning around and stuff, and I come to find out that this weird girl, this weird freaking girl, like she basically stalked Jack's films. She went to his house. She showed his house on her Instagram with millions of followers, and she said like, "Come outside, let's talk like adults." And how is that a normal thing to do? Can actually somebody explain that to me? You're doxing people. I know that this conversation is not really like new to any of you, but still, like, it was so shocking to me, because I didn't really know what she did. I just know that she got like really cancelled and stuff. And basically, Jay Aubrey in his video was pointing out how like YouTube was so supportive of her content, and they would post her on their Twitter and give her a bunch of support, even though she was making this sloppy content of like reacting to TikToks, but she wasn't really reacting to them, and she wasn't even crediting the people. And I got so like disgusted by this whole situation, because like, how can you be this freaking disgusting? Like, and she still has a career. That's my point to my video. Like, that's my point to of talking about this whole situation. She still has a career. When I watched Jay Aubrey's video, I went to Sniper Wolf's channel, and she still gets like 500 to a million views. And that's like so crazy. Like, it's so crazy how these people continue to have careers after being like shitty people, after being like racist and stalking people and harassing people, and even in real life and stuff like that. And I just got really like disgusted by the fact that she's still getting so many views. And I do believe that it is because like her audience is mostly children, which does make it like easier for her to be like to not be held accountable. And I understand that, but also like she's basically exploiting like the TikTokers that she's reacting to. She's exploiting the children that are watching her and giving her views and money. And I just find it so scary, like how these people can act on the internet. Like I want to have like a moment of reflection, I guess, because obviously like I know that I'm a queer and alternative person, and I know that my kind of people don't really get like recognition or appreciation on the internet. We are mostly like judged and stuff like that. But I do have big dreams that I'm going to realize one day. Even looking like this, even if I don't have like all my facial piercings, like I do want to take some of them out. I do want to have other facial piercings, you know, and I'm always changing and always evolving, but I do have big dreams of becoming this person that I've wanted to be for so long, and I'm finally ready to do that. But seeing like influencers and celebrities in general, like being such shitty people is so scary because are you supposed to be a shitty person? Are you supposed to be like a bad person to everybody around you? Are you supposed to be fake? Are you supposed to use everybody around you like to gain anything and have like a flourishing career? Like, is that what the internet has come to? Is that what the internet has always been? Like, that's my question, because I don't feel comfortable like being a horrible person towards others. And I do know that there are like obviously like Cruel World, Happy Mind is such a great example. Vanilla Mace is such a great example as well. Jenna Marbles is such a great example. Like there are people out there who are like great people. Well, probably not Jenna Marbles. I'm pretty sure she's also had like controversies in the past, and that's why she left the internet. But still, like there are creators out there who are like, from what we can tell online, good people, and they try their best and they care about like the current situation in the world and wars and stuff like that. But still, like it scares me so bad. It scares me so bad because I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk about this in my next podcast episode, which is like basically like I'm going to talk about going out in Lisbon and seeing like those types of like people and how they acted. But basically like every single person that I've experienced have like some sort of recognition and some sort of like fame, if you can even call it that, has been a horrible person. And like, is that what's supposed to happen? Like, can good people not get good things? Like, do you have to be to some level like fake and use people, or can you be like just a good person and still grow your career? Because I'm not trying to sacrifice my morals. Like I feel like that's what gets a lot of adults into like this society loop of being like horrible people, like having to sacrifice their morals to like become somebody and to have this amazing job or to get this amazing opportunity and stuff like that. And I'm not sacrificing my morals. I've known who I am for years now, and I'm not trying to sacrifice that just to have a career. But also, does that mean that I'm not going to have a career, you know? Because I would love to be like an influencer, and I would love to be a public figure and influence people to do better in their lives. And even from my life experiences, if people can take something they relate to and take that into their life and try to do better with that, that's like my mission in life, you know? But seeing these like big influencers being like horrible people just baffles me. And it's so scary like how they still have a career, how they're still thriving, and they still have fans who support them. And I guess like if you get like big enough, you'll always have an audience, because a lot of people will accept that you're racist. A lot of people will accept that you support wars and stuff like that. And it's such a scary place to be on the internet. And like I've recently been thinking a lot about like life in general. Like I've been having like a midlife crisis, even though I'm not in the middle of my life at all. I'm just like having this crisis of, I finally can allow myself and I feel happy enough to be chasing my dreams. But now I feel these like pressures from society to be a certain way, to act a certain way, to dress a certain way and stuff like that. And that's also like such a scary situation, because as an alternative and a queer person, I do feel like it's such a scary world to be living in right now. Like especially with the whole political situation going on, it does scare me to like express myself and express my opinions. And obviously I told you I've been receiving like weird comments, but that doesn't really like that doesn't bother me at the end of the day. It kind of does. It kind of gets to me because obviously it's not good to be hearing like people's like weird opinions about yourself because they're not true. Like even if people called me amazing, or even if people called me like a piece of shit, like they would not be right because these people don't know me. These people don't know who I am. These people don't know what I stand for. But still, like some comments do get to me, and I don't know. Like I've just felt like this need to like just like take off all my piercings and remove my facial tattoos and stuff and just be like a normal person. And I don't know where that's coming from, to be honest. Like I've never been this way, like ever since I was like aware of my existence, to be honest. I've always liked having piercings. I've always liked being like visually an alternative person. So I don't know where this whole situation is coming from, to be honest, but it's really been scary out here, you know, and especially with the political situation going on, like it's such a scary world to live in, and that's why I want to be like a creative, and I want that to be like the way I make my money, because I don't have to like oblige to these rules that society has made for people, because I don't agree with these rules, you know? And it's not because I'm a rule breaker or because I'm a rebel, it's because these rules don't make sense for anybody. Even for cisgender like normal people, you know what I mean? But they don't make sense, and I've just been so scared, to be honest. Like honestly, like I've been feeling like so scared, and like growing up and becoming an adult is such a scary situation because I do have to provide for myself. Like I told you guys, I sell stuff on Vinted and stuff like that, and I used to do nails. Like I've done nails for a few of my friends and stuff, but it is like such a scary thing. Like I'm becoming older and older. Like I'm 22 now, and I really want to figure something in my life that's going to bring me like income, that's going to keep me like afloat and like keep me stable in life. But it's been like scary. It's been so scary, and I've been having like this midlife crisis, which is like which I don't know why it's happening. Like I couldn't tell you why it's happening, but it's still happening in my mind. And I was going to like talk about it last week. I was trying to find some time to actually film a podcast episode, but then if I sat down last week and if I had found the time to actually film the podcast, I would have just been like talking about these depressive thoughts that I've been having. And obviously like it's normal. I understand that. The society we live in and the pressure that society puts on everybody is to like grow up, and you're 18, you have to go out of your family's house, and you have to get married, you have to have a car, you have to have a house, you have to like, you know, like all these like society rules that are set for us. But nowadays they don't even work because a lot of people, especially in Europe, cannot leave their parents' houses. Like it's so hard to have like enough income to like support yourself. Imagine leaving your parents' house. Like it's so hard out there, and I realize how hard it is. And I do have a certain privilege that I can provide for myself mostly and help my mom with money where she needs it. But still, like it's such a scary situation to be living in. And yeah, like I've been having this like existential crisis, I swear to you. Like sometimes I really get like existential in my mind, and things start to like, I start to feel this like society, I start to feel society's pressure to like be like a normal person. And it is like so scary to me, to be honest. Like I'm going to keep going with my podcast until I can, and if I have to get like a part-time job, I will also do that. But I'm not going to stop here. Like I was really like rethinking my whole life and my life choices, and should I even be posting online? Should I be looking for a job? But I am looking for a job while I'm doing this. But also finding a job in Portugal has been so hard because I am an alternative person, and it's such like, I don't know, I've been having like an actual existential crisis, and I don't know what the point of this whole conversation is anymore. Like I'm just sharing my thoughts and like the way I've been like spiraling lately. And like I don't want you guys to be like concerned about me. Obviously, like I do have some mental health issues that I'm obviously taking care of, and I will be good. Like I will be okay. I'm not going to like actually spiral, but I don't know, lately it's been such like a roller coaster of emotions that I've been having, and I just wanted to share that because I don't think a lot of people on the internet talk about like the reality of the situation, which is like a lot of people are stressed, a lot of people are even depressed. A lot of people have things going on in their life that they do not share online because it's not really accepted to be sharing these things online. And I don't know why, because a lot of discourse that I've been hearing on TikTok and stuff is basically like we need like real influencers, like we need real people to be online. And yet we don't really allow people to be real. We don't really allow people to share like actual real stories. That's obviously just my observation of the internet and stuff. Everybody experiences the internet a different way. I don't know, I guess let me know what you think about what I've said down below. Like I am still trying to like create a community and ask you guys stuff. I haven't really received any comments on the things that I've asked in my past episode, but I'm not. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop asking because I really care about you guys' opinion. Like, I really am trying to create like an actual community which we can share real opinions and real life stories and learn and grow from everybody's life experience. Because, as I said, like in a previous episode, I don't know which one exactly, but I think we're here to experience life together. I think community is such an important part of humanity, and I think with online culture and even like this political climate that we're in has made us so separated and has made it so hard to connect with other people. And I just hope to create like a community where people can feel accepted, because in my life I used to be seen as the black sheep, but then I started to create a space for people to be happy and seen. And I know I've helped a lot of people be seen from what they've told me, obviously. And I just want to do that on a grander scale. Like I just want to do that on the internet and for other people to feel also seen and to uplift everybody. Anyway, I need to stop like getting this like emotional on the internet, but I really do believe the things I'm saying. I swear to you, like I am this emotional and I am this like inspired and I am this like excited to be like on the internet finally and to be happy with myself and with my life enough to be doing this. I've always felt like a calling where I need to be online. I need to be telling people about my experiences. I need to be connecting with people. And I've connected with so many people online, even on TikTok Live and stuff. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm making a difference. And obviously, it's not like on a massive scale, but it's still like enough to inspire me and to keep me going. And I don't know, I did talk about like the whole crisis that I was having, so I just wanted to let you guys know that I am happy and thankful that the way my life is going, even though it is sometimes scary, I do still believe in myself and I know what I'm here for and I know what I was made to do. So I'm never going to stop. Even when I'm having these thoughts, I just keep reminding myself that I know why I'm here, I know what I'm doing this for. And even if one person sees this and gets inspired, that's all I can ask for, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to move on from this topic. I feel like a preacher sometimes. Go listen to Preacher's Daughter by Ethel K. Anyway, I'm going to end that conversation there. I don't really want to be like a preacher. I do believe very hard in the things I believe in, but still, like, I don't want you guys to get like annoyed or anything. Like, hopefully that's not annoying. But yeah, I do have like one last topic, which it's kind of, it has nothing to do with this whole podcast. I told you that this podcast was going to be about like social media influencers and stuff like that. And I think I've said enough about that topic. The last topic of today is going to actually be about this guy. And I told you about him. I told you that we basically started talking on this godforsaken app that I'm still not naming because I don't care. Like, that app is horrible. But we met on this app, and that's what turned me off from going out with him and stuff like that. Like, I kind of ghosted him. And the last conversation that we had was basically me saying that I'm not really mentally okay to be like going out with anybody. And he understood that, thankfully. Like, I don't know what he also could have said, but he was very nice about the whole conversation. And it's been like a month or something, and he recently reached out, and I think I'm going to go on a date because I do think that my issue with relationships is every time I have a relationship that ends badly, which is most of my relationships have ended like pretty badly, I close off so hard and I don't like let anybody near me for so long that when I do get into another relationship a few months or even years later, I am still the same person and I cannot keep living like this. I've realized that this is also like a toxic pattern that I keep following and I keep getting myself into, which is not allowing myself to be loved and not allowing to give this love that I have to other people. Because I was thinking, like, who is it helping to be so closed off and to be like, and to not let myself love people and be loved and experience life and connection with other people, you know? Because although this certain person traumatized me and it was like not a good situation and I really did not enjoy my time with this person, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't let this person into my life. And that's kind of a lesson that I've been learning in my 20s, I guess, which is like kind of like a Sex in the City lesson, I've been calling it, which is like just date, just have fun, just let people love you, let enjoy life. I've been stuck in this pattern of basically like when a relationship ends badly, I kind of blame myself, but I also blame the other person, and it's all blame, 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 and it's not, there was no growing up. But my recent situationship has been like kind of like the only time that I've gotten out of something and grown up like immediately and haven't been like depressed for actual months, you know? I do feel like with every relationship that I experience, I do get a little bit wiser, and that's why I'm kind of having these thoughts of like, go out on a date, go out with no expectations. And I think that's the most important part, to be honest, to not have any expectations, because when you have expectations, it just leads to disappointment. But when you don't have any expectations and you just go out just to meet somebody, just to connect with somebody, it turns out way better, you know? And that's what I'm going to do. Like, even though I did meet this guy on this app that's mostly for hookups, I have let him know that that's not what I'm looking for. And he said that he wanted to take me to this restaurant, and he said not to worry about the money. Those are some green flags, in my opinion. And I'm going to go with him. And I'm going to let you know, even if I do it just for the plot, even if I do it just like for a story time on here, I don't care, because it's going to be a fun story time at the end of the day. But yeah, that's my little like conversation about relationships and how I've been going into them and how I'm trying to change these patterns, you know? And if you do recognize this pattern in yourself, try changing as well. Try giving somebody a chance, because the worst thing somebody can say is no. The worst thing somebody can say is that they didn't enjoy the date, and you can just move on and have another date with somebody else, or take care of yourself if you need that. And dating is so weird nowadays, especially with all the accessibility that people have from social media and from dating websites and stuff like that. But still, I do believe that we should keep dating even if we meet people online, and even if it is from Instagram or a dating app or anything like that. Like, if you are somebody like me, like a queer person in general, or just somebody who doesn't allow themselves to like to open up from past experiences, try opening up. Like, try something new. Like, that's what I want to teach you guys, I guess. Like, I'm also like a very socially anxious person, and I don't really step out of my comfort zone too much. Like, I've been trying to do that recently. Strangely, that's also been like a big influence of Vanilla Mace, because she is like a very like, she's an extremely outgoing person, and she's talked about having like anxiety and stuff like that, and she just made me feel so seen. And I feel like she's such a big inspiration to me in that way, of like facing your fears and exposure therapy, in a way, if you can call it that. But yeah, she's been like a big inspiration to me. And thank you, Vanilla. Not that she's ever going to see this, but if you do, thank you so much. I know she's doing this for a lot of people who feel a lot of oppression in this society, and that's like, finding this type of a creator online is so like good and beneficial to your own life, because as an adult I can take these like good lessons that she's teaching people, and I can apply them to my own life. And even if that is like going to the thrift alone, or going into a shop and not buying anything and just walking out, and like I'm still like experiencing life and having fun, and that is a great thing. So thank you, Vanilla. Thank you, Vanilla Mace, for being the person that you are, and more people like you, I guess. But yeah, you guys, I think we have an episode. I think this is going to come out. Like, it's been such a struggle for the past like like the last episode and this episode have been such a struggle to film. I've been figuring things out. Obviously, like I'm not a professional at this. I've just started doing it, and the way I was doing it in the beginning is not working anymore. So now I have to adapt and do it in a different way. But still, I did it, and I think this episode is going to come out. Also, I do have to apologize for the lighting change. I should have said this in the beginning, but I'm filming this at night because it's been extremely hot in Portugal, and putting on makeup while it's 30 degrees outside is not possible. And I do have to film these at night, so I do apologize for that. But hopefully, you enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully, you learned something. Hopefully, you took something from the episode. Let me know. Hopefully, we can start building like a little community and not receive so many hate comments and receive actual comments from like queer people and stuff like that, and YouTube can start pointing my channel into that direction and start giving me like a good audience, because so far it's been like kind of strange interactions that I've been having online. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, like and subscribe.